Yeah, they're on the way. They were signing up. All right. How we doing? This is our first like assistant training for the first quarter. That's exciting. No?
Yeah.
How's Nogales doing? You can unmute and say something.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
What's that? You guys are okay?
We only hear about.
Yeah, great.
Okay, if you lose the audio or you cannot, can you see me? Can you see all of us?
Yes, we can actually see you, Ms. Jones. I believe I'm having some issues with my audio.
Looks like Omar is having issues with his audio. So
Yeah, because
we're checking.
we can pretty crazy, yeah. So it's like breaking up a little bit, but the rest of them looking good. Huh?
Everybody's
Looking good, sounds good. All right, so people, you wanna check the Omar because we don't wanna.
I can go and remote his computer, see what's going.
Okay,
Right.
thank you. Are you guys, whoever is next to me, comfortable if I would now? You can all just close it. So, all right. So Thursday, tomorrow is almost Friday. So this is supposed to be fun. So you can look more excited than that. So this is something I decided to start having this series of trainings because we don't feel that we provide you enough support, enough information, enough tools in order for you to succeed in a position. And it comes from attorneys and also from you because you reply to those questions that what kind of training do you guys want? What are you looking for? How we can support you and assist you to help you to succeed in the job that you're currently in. Especially we have a few new faces here, right? In Nogales, we have some new additions that were promoted. So it's just always nice to catch up or it's going to be something as a reminder, especially when you saw on our agenda. Ethics, right? And then we talk about general, again, it's not going to be in-depth training. I know majority of you said it's time management and heavy caseload. So it's not like I ignored you, but this is our overview of little things that you can implement after today. So to help you a little bit with your caseload and time management. Nicole, on the other hand, is working on a complete 2-hour training just on the time management because it seems like it's been a topic for all of us, including myself, right? How to manage ourselves better with everything. Juggling personal life, professional life, the amount of flights, the amount of files, the amount of work, the team members, all of this stuff that it's all comes towards us. So ethics, why I put ethics number one is because we as an attorneys and a legal law firm, right? So we're protecting our license. Without our attorney's license, we will not be able to be here, right? And Nogales will not be able to be in their offices today because it just simply wouldn't exist if something happens to our license. So we want to make sure we had a good training with Linda Shelley, one of our ethics attorneys who came here last year. Was it last year? Yeah, she was wearing masks and stuff like crazy, right? So whoever missed her, so this is a summary of what she provided to us. Linda Shelley is the firm's ethics attorney, like anything that's happening to the firm, she is as an advisory for us. And also she is training attorneys how to go through the license. So she was actually a founder of disciplinary committee of Arizona State Bar. So she's on our side right now, which is good because you don't want her to be on the opposite side from us. So that is exciting because I think, all of us needs to be reminded, including myself, including attorneys, especially legal assistants who are hand in hand working with clients. Right? So are you ready? So is Omar all set with the audio? So can we proceed? Can you hear me? Paulina, what are you thinking?
I know he can hear you, but I think he still sounds robotic. But he hears just fine.
Okay, we're recording this so he can listen if he misses something. And also for Walter and Frankie, they were out signing up potential clients, so they were waiting for us, so they might barge in and join us. All right, you have printed materials, so you're welcome to follow me or going through the screen, because I also gonna be walking through stuff. We're gonna discuss it. It's not gonna be presentation, it's gonna be conversation. All right, so your participation here, that's why I demanded to have it in person, is because so we can chit chat and we can discuss it. So it's this training is informal. So please jump in and say like, oh, I did not know about it. Thank you so much. Or yes, I've been doing it, or I forgot to do that. So this is something for us, like wherever is new, so just grasp in and soak it in, all the information, wherever it is not that new. So just a reminder, okay? So what we're gonna do is hopefully it's gonna, I put together 2 hours. We can have a break in between ethics in general, so have a 5-10 minute break in between. I try to get it within the 2 hours. Okay, so because everybody has a lot of work to do, so I just want to make sure we are efficient. And if we're gonna go faster, that'll be great, but maximum 2 hours, right? So we're gonna have break after ethics, and then we're gonna go into the journal, and then we're gonna summarize, and we're free to go, all right? So ethics, who knows what ethics is? And again, why it's important for us to understand ethic rules of Arizona State Bar. Again, Nogales, you can unmute yourself so you can participate, because I want everybody participation, of course. So ethic rules of State Bar of Arizona. Why they even exist and why we need to talk about them. What is it? Privacy interest. What does that mean? Privacy interest.
What reveals something is knowledge. Knowledge is something you can use for power. It could be bad, good, some part is bad. Yeah.
Okay, so when we're gonna go, but ethics rules is like, if you have to drive the car, you have to pass what? A test, driving test, and then follow what? Traffic rules. So ethic rules like traffic rules for attorneys. And if you get busted, you get busted. And you can go to jail and you can be disciplined, and they can take your license away, they can punish you, they can fine you. So it's just like a traffic or send you to traffic school type of thing. Very similar, just for attorneys, right? I was just asking about what the ethical rules means in general, why we need to know. Because we need to know, what are you protecting? Because you're there on behalf of the attorneys, all of you. Whoever's watching in Nogales and sitting here in this beautiful tape, right? Because if you do something not in according to the ethics rules, then what happens to you? Nothing. What happens to attorney? Everything, punished. So attorneys want to make sure you do everything in according with ethics rules. So attorneys got punished, or you've been punished, you're going to be let go, or you'll find something else, right? Is out there. But attorneys could be suffering, so we don't want that to happen. So we're all going to work together as a company. All right, so confidentiality. So why it's important to understand that all information is privileged and confidential. What does that mean, confidential, to you? Anybody jump in? Yeah, it's conversation. It's between you and the client, meaning that whatever client tells Erica, Erica cannot go and discuss it with her husband, or with her brother, or with her friend, or with the left. Can you discuss it with me? Yes. Can you discuss it with James Winings? Miss Padilla? Aaron? Unless you work on the same case. Otherwise, no. What about the phone? It's that you go to the bathroom and you're there washing your hands, but James Winings called you and asks some information about the kids. What do you think? So here's the situation. Attorney, oh, bathroom or in the street, or okay, you're in the Starbucks in the line. That's their example, right? You're in the Starbucks in the line and you snuck out because it's not your lunch. So you're still actually on clock. And Wining's calling you and asking you all the facts and information about the client. What would Erica should do? Okay, call back. Cannot talk to you. Ooh, good luck with that. Mr. Wining, sorry, I'm busy at this moment. I'm at Starbucks. Would you like some? Oh, you don't drink coffee. Okay. So other answers. Huh? Run to the car and leave Starbucks behind. Wow. Anybody else? Betty is committed. Yeah. Anybody else? Liz, what would you do?
I would contact me on like a work application, not my personal phone.
Okay. So we called her on a personal phone. She said, don't use my personal phone, use the work phone. What if it's an emergency? What if he's about to pass deadline and it's like he needs to run to FedEx to meet the deadline?
I would just, yeah, go somewhere outside where within like few shots of other people.
Okay. Okay, go somewhere that that you think you're alone. You never know in this world. Nogales. What do you think? Anybody in Nogales want to say anything, any version of the answer for you?
I think I would do the same as Benny. Go to the car. There's nobody there. Nobody's going to listen to your conversation, and you don't disclose any information to anybody else besides yourself in the car. And it's just Starbucks, so you can always go back to it.
Okay, thank you. So we'll agree. Go to the car. It's hot. All right. So good answer. So definitely leave Starbucks. Sorry, or bathroom. Sorry. So you need to find yourself in a place that you know that nobody will overstep you. Yes, absolutely. Or if there's a possibility, Mr. Winings, I'll be there in 5 minutes. There's a way for you to wait for me. Great answer as well. If absolutely not, let me just give me like 30 seconds for me to run to the car, lock the doors, and then I'm gonna talk to you. But definitely, in it sometimes it's tempting to start having a conversation again. I'm including myself and other attorneys and other people do that, and I saw it. So cannot talk to the family and friends. Why not family? You like, oh, why I cannot talk to my husband, my sister, or my wife, like, or my kid when he's misbehaving, right? So it's like, you see, you're gonna end it up like such and such. Let me tell you his story, right? So why not? Why not the family member? Because we have that conversations many times with our loved ones. Why not that? They can share with somebody else without thinking, because they don't know ethic rules. They don't work in the legal field or law firm. So they might share it with somebody and somebody can know that person and they can hurt them. Or what if that person is filing a lawsuit against our client? So now we have, if that happens, and we'll talk about it later, it's a conflict of interest, we have to drop the case. That's not good for us, right? So you never know who knows, especially in the world of social media, everybody knows somebody. Even they don't know each other, they think they do because they see each other on Facebook. Okay, so be careful with that. I'd rather you take precautions and not disclose your work. Just go home, relax. Enjoy yourself with your loved ones. Do not think or talk about, you can think a little bit about work, but not talk about it with anybody. Okay? Yes, of course, not putting this like, oh yeah, I have such this client, put it on social media and LinkedIn, and even you do not this, if you do not even mention their name, but you mention their story, they can still recognize themselves. Even without the name. It's like, but I dropped the, or I changed the name, I dropped the name. Guys, did they know where you work? If they know if they're our clients, they know their story, so you're in violation, they can come and, well, they don't come to us, they go to the law. Those people are bad, right? Or not compliant with the ethics. Of course, restaurants, elevators, parties, especially after a few margaritas, right? Lobby, especially when you talk, that's why I said, Erica, you cannot talk to parents, right? And you're having a conversation, you're in an elevator, or you're in the lobby, somebody, you think nobody's there, somebody's around the corner. Like, you never know. It's just like, I don't want to sound paranoid, but it happened before, it will happen, it always happening. Just not too fast, right? So that's why we need to be really extra careful. Nogales, the same way. I know I'm not there, but somebody is still listening and hearing what we talk about to other people, especially when you're talking among different departments. So just take extra caution, especially, with working with the clients, working with the cases is very, very high confidential. And we want to make sure we respect their privacy and the ethical rules of the state. If you don't want to be heard, don't speak out loud, right? If you want to whisper, sometimes like I speak loud, making sure that I'm heard, or it's just a cultural thing, I don't know. But yes, if I don't want anybody to know it, I am not going to be disclosing it with my voice, right? So be careful. Is Huber is part of this meeting because he's running it right now. I took my mouse away from me. All right. This is an interesting one. I was reviewing at the app, letter F. Even the client's name and the fact that the client has hired the firm is confidential. That's interesting because sometimes intake department, or I'm sorry, sales department, when we had a training with our amazing team in Nogales in sales. So we were strategizing how are we gonna ask for referrals, right? From people like, okay, Erica, you, just I like your Erica. So Erica, so did you like our services today?
Yes. Of course.
It was a tricky question, right? So because you like us so much, would you mind talking to your family, your friends, your neighbors, your relatives, how great we are, and refer them to us? So,
No.
and why?
I want them to know that
I'm illegal. Yes. Believe it or not, I did not even figure it out that it could be a possibility that a person said no to us. I don't want to refer because I don't want people to know I am the client. And apparently they did not read those rules, but they are protected under the rules and they have to respect that. We can ask about it, and if they feel comfortable, they can break that confidentiality because they're themselves, right? They're the client. But we cannot say, hey, Erica, she's our client.
Oh, no.
You're like, oh, and Erica, oh, and we're in violation, a big violation of confidentiality. So we have to be careful in Nogales too. Again, we are asking for referral, but we cannot make them to say or disclose that they actually part of our law firm as a client, because every testimonial that we post out there, they have to consent. And sometimes when we post them on social media, they ask us to turn it down because they don't want anybody to say, oh, look, I did not realize that. Oh, you can sign a consent that and we're respectful. Of course, we put it down the video because people don't feel comfortable to show them. Like, even though they got the green card, they maybe not many people believe it. So confidentiality, huge respect to the client, huge respect to their case. Of course, we appreciate they hired us, but we not necessarily can disclose that fact, right? Even if you decide to go and change your career and become homestay mom, you cannot talk about the cases. So it's almost like a lifetime sentence, guys. Whatever you know here stays here. It's there, does stay. So whatever happened at Maria Jones Law Firm stays at Maria Jones Law Firm. Cannot leave this office, this walls, or Nogales walls, because it's still affiliation of our office. Any questions, concerns, feedback, anything? We're clear on that, right? Okay. All right, H, I admit it happened to me before. We sent the paperwork to the one client. That client had exactly the same name. First name and last name. We did not check the address. So it was almost like impossible to say like literally the same person, right? So we sent and then the documents and everything was completely virtual. It's violation of the rule. Okay. So whatever you mailed, whatever is, especially right now, it's so easy, like click, 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 especially it's like scan file, right? Or all the documents can be, yeah, I just need the receipt nowadays. So I just need this, you click and send to the, we can be punished for that, guys. Yeah, we send the whole file, like copy of the file to the wrong person. So all the information, and apparently that person came back and said that person tried to use my social security to work. So it was a crazy nightmare. Wow. And we had to prove that we understand. So they did this to us, nothing serious, but we were investigated. And so the bar said, just be careful, but we literally like, okay, so look at the difference, say the difference, but it's like, no, you have to look, make sure to the very last page that it's the right person. So we didn't, it's a copy of the client, we'll just mail it to them. And the only reason we know it was the wrong person because that other client came in and said somebody's using my social security. We don't think it was that person because we did call that client. And they're like, no, why? I have a Greenberg now. Why would I use the social security? But of course, the first person they blamed us. And of course, they went run to the bar. So they did that thing. So it's just unpleasant, nothing serious happened, but we have to defend something that we have done. All right. So I'm sharing the stories with you. So story sticks to your head, right? So you will remember every time you copy the file, like, am I sending it to the right person? It's like, maybe check, is this the right person? Sign off on it. But yes, that's how silly, but how serious at the same time it is. All right, so this is and it's all about COVID and working remotely. Yes, there is not in our firm, my friend's firm, there was a situation, legal assistant took a few files home, but she stopped at the store, went to the store, came back, her car was broken, everything was stolen, including those files.
Oh.
Who is liable? Not legal assistant, the firm. So the clients did not do anything, they just they scanned something, and thank God there was no originals in there, but information was out. So they have to call to the client, and warn them to check their, making sure they're checking their social security or anything, or they call social security on their behalf to let them know that, hey, my number was stolen, and watch out for that. Again, was it legal assistance fault? No. No, how does she know that somebody's gonna break in her car? It's not, it's exceptional circumstances, right? It is a lawyer in the law firm responsible for those exceptional circumstances. Yes, yes.
On paper, yeah.
Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. They don't care if it rains, shines, or snow, whoever did something to the file. Their argument is you did not secure the files enough to prevent this from happening, meaning that it has to be locked, or she would have to take them with her to the store, which is ridiculous. We don't do that. But in a situation like that, if that's if something happened, it does not depend on you, still responsible. Or attorney is responsible, but attorney is not going to be happy when you come into them and say, "Hey, I lost your files," and it's out there wherever, in what hands took them. All right, confidentiality. Are we good on confidentiality? Do we understand now, family members, even staff members, right? Even you left this office, it's there this type of rules, right? Cannot send the wrong thing to the wrong client. Keep your voice down, even when you talk to attorneys, make sure nobody's hearing you, but you remember somebody's always hearing you. So. And of course, prevent, don't take the files. Even sometimes, guys, I used to have a rule in the office. You cannot have more than 3 files in an office. You know why? Right? Do you remember those days or no? No? I mean, yeah, I know, but it's just again, I'm not gonna be going after Liz and for throwing files out, because everything is, we have a file, right? So everything has to be filed because it's impossible for you to work on all those files at one time. So if you work the files, so you work on them and then file them away, because the idea was even walk their office, file room from cleaning people. Because that's how precautious that we, or cautious, I guess, would have to be, because anybody is walking in the office, they're not employees of the firm, they have to stay away from those confidential information. So you're not walking your offices and you're keeping the files. So technically, you take the files, you work on them, you earn the day, you file everything back away, so your office is clean, everything filed away, and walk what it is. So this is ideal. It's a perfect world, but we don't live in a perfect world right now. So that's why Liz had a lot of files. Right, Liz? Yeah, that's ideal. All right, that's a fun thing. Unauthorized practice of law. So only Arizona lawyers may practice law in Arizona, with a few very limited exceptions. That means that you cannot give legal advice. You cannot prepare legal documents unless they're reviewed and signed by an attorney. Do not negotiate legal matters for the client. Appear on behalf of the client in any proceedings or tribunal or any other purpose. Any questions about any of this? A, B, C, D. It's pretty clear. But what I want to ask you is, what is legal advice? So that's number one. Cannot give legal advice, but what is this? What does it mean, give legal advice?
A lot of clients ask about their eligibility. And I think they have to fall into every
Eligibility, like, yeah, can I get a green card?
yeah, or like their spouse or whatever, they're not a client, but they're like, oh, I used to happen to me, or I was whatever, it will affect me, or they have a chance of me.
All right, so do I have a chance to get a green card, or you just represented my brother and I'm the similar situation? Can you please tell me, can I qualify just for my brother? Or can I file a 130 right now or later? Or what do you think? And we tend to say, especially when you've been around the block and you know a little bit of immigration laws and you feel knowledgeable, and you say, just this time, I'll just say, yeah. Can you do that? Absolutely not. But what if you go to Mr. Winings, you talk to him in private about the facts of this particular case, and he tells you, yes, this person can file adjustment of status. What can you do? Relate the information from yourself. Thank you. That's magic words that you have to say to the client without this being legal advice that comes from you, right? So because you just talked to Mr. Winings and he told you what to say, the first thing you have to say, I am not an attorney, and it's not coming from me, Mr. Lopez. That's what Mr. Winings told me to tell you. For attorney, this is what you can do. What if the client did not understand what you thought, what you said about Winings and thinks you're an attorney? What happened? Or they left the office, even you say, like, for attorney, you're qualified for adjustment of status. And they said, thank you, Attorney Benny. I'll be back to
Oh,
Hialeah.
no, like that. I'm not an attorney.
Okay, you run after them.
Yes, you do.
No, 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 I'm not joking.
Yeah, I do.
If they think you're an attorney, we're all in trouble. Why? Because that could be a representative of others on the state bar. If they do the sneaky things, they come in as clients. They've done it to, I don't know if they've done it to some other law firms. I know. Because they did not pass. That's how I know. That person did not say they were an attorney, did not give legal advice, did not, it was vague. So the client is always right. And if the client thinks that Karen is an attorney, client is right, and you are in trouble along with me and everybody else in this law firm. Even though, but I said, look, no, even if you said it and client misinterpreted, it's still whose fault? Our fault. Our fault, not the client. But client did not understand. Explain in simple words. Read my lips. I am not an attorney. Even though I look like one, I can be one. I want to be one, but I'm not. Mr. Lopez, are we clear? Who am I?
Not an attorney.
Thank you. We can continue our conversation. You might be from the state bar of Arizona. I want to make sure I am clear because the rule said I have to. I know it's funny, guys, but trust me, I'm telling you this because it happened to my friend. I don't want it to ever happen to us. You're funny, Erica. You make me laugh. So legal advice, meaning that only attorney can tell you based on the law. Even though you know the answer, and I know you're tempted, you're busy, you have 500,000 cases right now to deal with, phone calls to return, clients to work with, yes, you can sign. I know, but it's like, I don't have time to run and bother Mr. Winings because he doesn't have time, right? As is me, but I have to, even though I know the answer that it comes from. Yeah. Comments. Any other funny examples that you have in your life about being an attorney? That you're not, right? Okay. So, Nogales.
I haven't-
Anything that you want to share? Paula?
Yes, I have an example. Whenever we're on the phone and a prospect got to speak with the intake department or even with sales, they think that they spoke with an attorney, even though we mentioned it's not directly with the attorney. So this person, for example, the intake is pending and we're missing information. So they have the information ready and they want to provide it to Leslie or Erasmo. And they're like, can I speak with the attorney Erasmo? And we make sure that before transferring the call, we're like, hey, so Erasmo is not an attorney. He's a representative. He makes sure to complete this questionnaire so the attorney can review it. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, it makes sense. He told me he was not the attorney. I just wanted to make sure. So people know, but they just want to confirm or they go with the idea that they got to speak with an attorney. So we always make sure before transferring the call that we got to make them understand that they're not speak with an attorney right now.
That's a great point. And I know before that I worked closely with the sales representatives here in the office, inside Phoenix office. And I was part of the conversation with the client who always thought that Kevin is an attorney. Even though he said in front of me, I was there, that I was sitting there, so they always thought Kevin is an attorney, even it says on the card, you know, it was the customer service representative that he says I'm not an attorney, but clients want to hear what they want to hear. Again, it's our job to take every single step to ensure they understand who you are. And, you know, we have photos of attorneys outside, like in the lobby. You know, there is a reason there are photos of attorneys in the lobby, because those are attorneys, the rest of them are not, right? So again, so you want to get to know our attorneys, they're on the website, it says how many attorneys, their bios, their, you know, explanation of their experiences and what school they went to. So they're also in the lobby. So if you want to meet our attorneys, go on our website or in our lobby. We're doing it right now, our website. Yeah, but unfortunately, you're gonna meet with the clients like that. The bar says you have to take necessary steps. Again, we cannot control the clients, and I try to make it like a little harsher than it is on you, because we still have to take those steps. We still have to repeat a couple of times. Like, we're sure if you hear, like Paulina said, if you hear that somebody saying attorney Dowlett, right, or attorney Leo, attorney Karen, you cannot just pass by and say, okay, they misunderstood, and roll your eyes and keep moving. No, you stop and correct them. For the sake of all of us. We're all in the same ship, right? We don't want to drown together. We want to sail together, right? So yes, identify your title, not just your name. And Paulina, I wanted to take it seriously with the staff in Nogales. I guess it's going to apply to every single person in Nogales. So if you would please, to make sure that we just not share their name, your name, but also share your title. Entiendo.
That also
Did I say
happens
it
with
right?
prospective calls from potential clients where they say that they think that they call in and they think they're talking with Maria Jones. So when you initially pick up the phone, we say all the script. We're like, thank you for calling Maria Jones Law Firm. My name is Brianna. And they directly say, Ms. Jones or Maria Jones. Am I speaking with Maria Jones? And we have to correct them like, no, my name is Brianna. I'm a phone operator. And then we go on with the rest of the process. But when they call us, even though we say all the script, they still think they're speaking to Maria Jones.
Yeah, yeah. I had a mistake to hiring Maria, legal assistant. And she quit because she could not handle the pressure of Maria Jones. Because when she said, hi, this is Maria Jones. Let me tell you everything I think about you or your firm, which is good. Yeah. But yes, good point. Just be clear, be clear. Again, this is the examples of legal advice. You guys already discussed that. Should I file I-130? It's a legal advice. Let me check with the attorney. I'll get back to you. Again, go back to attorney, confirm with them according to Mr. Winans, according with Ms. Padilla, according to attorney. If you're still learning their names, right? By now you should know all of their names, right? According to attorney, this is yes, you can proceed with I-130. Next question. What would you suggest I do if I never file taxes? Ding, 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 ding. It always happens. So guys, for Nogales, I just said ding, 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 and somebody rang the bell. Okay, thank you. That was funny. Okay, it was really funny. And then yes, file taxes. Okay, let me double check with attorney. Could I qualify for the waiver? Again, could you qualify or not? We'll figure it out with attorney. I'll get back to you. If in doubt, it's a legal advice. Don't do it. It's like, Erica, is this, the letter's going to Erica. It's like, is this legal advice or not? Yes, legal advice, go check with our attorney. You don't want to take chances. If in doubt, feel like you need to go talk to an attorney. It's a legal advice. Okay, Nogales? Okay. Take silence is yes. And of course, all the attorneys must review the document. That's why they must sign it, so they cannot just say, hey, sign a blank page, Mr. Winings, I'm gonna fill up the rest. Do not do that. And if attorney is doing it, don't do it. Save their butt. You're there to protect the attorneys, right? You're their shield. It's like, you against ethic rules, Mr. Winings, cannot do that. Ms. Jones taught us well. I know what we're responsible for. We don't want you to get in trouble, because we all will eventually if you do. All right? Not only could a lawyer be subject to the bar discipline if a non-lawyer engages in an unauthorized practice of law, but the bar is authorized to prosecute non-lawyers who are engaged in unauthorized practice of law. I've never, it means that they're gonna go after you. Like, I've never seen it happen, but it's more notarios here in town who like definitely look like lawyers. Their office looks like lawyers, but they always do the disclosure. Every single person I talk to about the notario's office that I'm talking about without name disclosure, thought he was an attorney. So the bar are going after people like that, but I've never seen them not prosecuted. Even though the rule says they go after you, attorneys and notarios or whoever is doing this. I've never seen it. So that's why attorneys are upset about this. It's like, I went to law school, so. But again, it's not about law school and the license. It's about those people. They don't know nuances. They don't go to see if they continue legal education. They don't go, they're not lawyers. They sometimes figure out the law. Or maybe they know the templates. They don't know they're like, oh, it just changed last week. Oh, I don't know. Let me screw you up. And then of course they ended up here, blaming the whole world for them making bad decisions, just save a few bucks to go to an unauthorized practice of law, notario, and then come back to us and say there's nothing we can do about it. It happened to me before. I know that at my trainings with Nogales, I shared this story when people come back and they cry and I'm like, I'm sorry, you're trying to be cheap, but now you screwed up the rest of your life because you weren't home bar or something like that. So they filed and they found out about it. And they should not be filing it all. So something like that. It's not about ego attorney that I have a license, I went to law school. It's about you hurting our clients, and unfortunately we ended up with them and we're messenger who wants to be shot. And it's unfortunately the life could be screwed up forever for them to say that you got $500, $200 to go off the cheapest. Any questions about legal advice and unauthorized practice of law? Nogales, Phoenix, how we feeling?
Feeling good.
We're 15 minutes late left before a break. So we're doing really good. So we have conflict of interest, and this is, I want to spend a little bit of time, and then because we have a conflict of interest procedure implemented by Mr. Winings as well, professionalist communication. I would like to start with this really quick, professionalism in communication. Again, so because I don't want to leave it to the last, because I want to go through this quick, okay? And again, it's how to be professional at the workplace, right? If you are not feeling well or feel uneasy, we ask you to keep it to yourself or take a day off, right? A mental day, right? Because it's affecting us so professionally to each other, right? So I'd rather you support each other than putting you down. Like, oh, you don't know how to do this, Eric. I'm sorry. I don't know. What are you thinking? But I would never do that. So comments like that, it's really diminish our morale. And I'd rather you to be uplifting or say nothing than put the person down. Okay? Especially with attorneys, they have a lot on the plate. They need to think about, okay, how not to get in trouble, how to make sure you're not getting them in trouble and you not get in trouble, how to deal with clients with you and solve the cases. So yes, and sometimes they can be a little bit short. Doesn't mean they don't love you. Doesn't mean they don't want to make it work, right? So again, so be understanding with each other. We're all going through something. So just keep that in mind. Again, we have office policies in that firm booklet that all of you have access to through the paycheck. You are in doubt in something like, okay, what should I say? I don't know, what should I wear? What time should I be here? Type of thing. Everything is there, and professionalism is covered as well. Nogales, if again, it's the you don't have access to paychecks, so but if I believe we had Daniel had the office policies, so if you need to see the updated one, please let me know, Paulina. That would be great if you need to review it at one point to know. Yeah, just I mean, I don't know if you guys want to have any examples, if you want to share anything, if there's anything bothering you, like somebody is doing something. I want you to really speak up, especially newer people, because that could really cause us not to have very good results. So it's going to affect you, it's going to affect others, and it's going to affect your performance. So just want to make sure that we all very honest with each other, I guess that's the word, and respectful of each other. She wanted to talk about, she always a good leader, all the communication with the clients. Right, so nothing letters, nothing happens letters, they need to send to the client to make sure the case is not sitting on the shelf for more than 6 months. So again, immigration has some unique time frame that when cases are sitting there for 1 year, 2 years, and sometimes we don't touch them, but it doesn't mean the client knows that we have not abandoned them, we did not throw the case away, we forgot about them. So the clients are really need to know what's happening, and sometimes they call us, sometimes they don't, they just go straight to the call. Okay, so I'm asking Padilla, especially for this type of cases, because majority of the cases are just like very similar, especially with COVID, to have this type of meetings on a weekly and monthly with all of you to make sure you have, maybe through Nogales assistance, to have those phone calls to the client to make sure, oh, I just want to say hi, how you doing? How's your family through this COVID? Nothing happens to your case. Oh, thank you so much for letting me know. There is a few that I personally called before when I handled K1 visas. Said, I don't want you to call me if there is nothing happening to the case. But because of the rule, I said, it's okay, I'll call you again. Why? Because I don't want to be punished because the Arizona State ethics rules tell me to call you every 6 months. Even, I mean, it's a reasonable time. 6 months is like more like nothing happens. We still need to pick up the phone, make sure clients understand that nothing happens. But we haven't forgotten about them. We're still there to if something happens, you can always call us. It sucks, but it's true. It's the way we have to call it. Even if nothing. But nothing happens, but the client still receives the notice. Regardless, you see it on the rule, you have to comply with the rule. That's why maybe we have a support in the Nogales office to do this type of things. They normally do it, I think, on Saturdays. So communication policies, I touched a little bit on that. Out of the office messages, right? So if you're out of the office and you're planning to be out, that's pretty simple, right? So you put out a reply on the Outlook. For the staff, don't bother me. For the clients, I'm sorry, I'm out of the office. For emergency, call this number, right? Always say, if I'm out, who do you call? Always say it in a message. For the staff, sorry guys, I'm on vacation, don't bother me. That's internal message. Don't mix. Are you okay? Are you still with me? Or like, did we get the joke? Now we're slowly getting the jokes a little bit. Good? Almost a break, almost a break. Maybe it's the only one who got the joke. It's like, is it that joke or we're falling asleep? It's one or another, right? All right, let's do the conflict. Paulina, do you want to talk a little bit what conflict is? Because I know we talked about it before.
Yes, we have been discussing, especially with the prospects, the people that we don't know who they're family with or friends with or whatever. So we have to always check the conflict of interest because we don't want to do something that might affect the other person or the other case. So we have to always make sure to ask. And to give you an example that I use to train the PO so they can get to understand the conflict of interest is that we offer different practices, not just immigration. So if we represent someone for a U visa case, for example, like we represent someone who was a victim of a violent crime or domestic violence, and then this person who attacked our client is calling in to get their criminal defense services, we cannot help. There's a conflict of interest there. We cannot represent both parties knowing that one affected the other, and we can get into trouble if we do so.
Excellent. Did we get that example? So there is a victim and abuser, both came to our firm. The thing is, if we take, so we have your visa case, and we didn't catch the abuser case on the intake, so we start getting information and fill out the intake, we have to drop both cases. If we caught that as a conflict of interest check by asking, and we'll see the procedure, certain amount of questions. So we just got the name, and we can say, what is the case about? And, oh, my wife, let's say my wife, who's currently our client, is involved in this case against me. So we check the system for the name. Then our system is what? INAZoom. Get all the names, right? So we check it, and if that U visa client came up and it matched him, we say, sir, we cannot represent you, but let us refer you to another firm. If we did not catch that and we still filled out the, Erasmo was so efficient, he did fill out the intake, the entire intake for this person, and we find out, which we should, because we have to do it according to the rules. We have to, it's mandatory, it's not optional. Have to do that, we have to drop both cases. Why? Not just him, but hers as well. Why? What do you think?
One could think that we're favoring the other.
Favoring one or another, they can think that. What else? What other options? It's a good option. So why we have to drop both cases, not just him? We already have you visa client and you already completed the packet. Biased, okay. Being biased, what else? Any other options? Bella?
No, they would think that we're meeting on one place.
Nogales?
Possible violation of confidentiality between information from one client to the other, perhaps?
Absolutely, yeah. Now we know her story and his story. So now we cannot represent them efficiently, right? Because we know he's part of the story and her part of the story, but we might need to use his part of the story to win her case. We can represent them the same way, or whatever we know about you as a client, we can use it against her to represent him. We are stuck. So the bar said, because you were not efficient enough to catch it at the beginning, at least to save this U visa case, you drop both. Sucks, huh? Because she already filled out the entire packet. have to have full refund because we screwed up. Thank you for working for free. Yeah? You understand? So this is how important it is. We were not enforcing it before. We have to. Because especially we did not have this issue until we did discover. And it happened to us. Not, I'm using her because she's UBISA.
I was like, no, me.
No. It maybe 3-4 years ago. Well, no, the criminal department is what, 3 years old. 3-year-old. It was like 2.5 years ago when we figured out in the middle of their case when it was aggressor to our UBISA account. Have to, because they can punish us for not doing that. This is it's a huge deal, conflict, very huge deal, okay? But you understand now why, right? So is it logical? It's like, okay, I don't understand that conflict thing that I have to check all the time. This is ridiculous. Marie Jones has this crazy ideas she wants us to do. At least she does not know how busy I am, right? But again, it goes, Paulina and Nogales team, again, it goes into the intake from the first, like they even say the phone call. Before you then transfer people to the intake department, do the quick check. Hey, is anybody hiring you from the office or from your family, our office? Husbands, wives, children, anybody, like conflict. It's mostly family member, right? So it's like the opposite, especially like, you know, if they're complimenting, it's like, let's say, sisters, two sisters applying for I-130, it's not a conflict. You understand that the conflict is they're on opposite sides, seeing each other, right? Or we had a couple of cases, family law cases, that we have UBISA and divorce, so it doesn't need to be UBISA and domestic violence. So we have like our immigration case, but our another attorney that's not here with us anymore. So he was representing the guy in divorce case that we represented her in immigration case. It's also conflict, drop the both cases. Okay. So at the stage of the phone, operators, potential clients cannot talk to them unless they have a conflict. Otherwise, we're going to start losing cases here if we find out. It's like, yes, so what if somebody calls right now as a potential client? We want to make sure we don't represent the current client in the opposite case. So at least we save our current client and say no to the potential. Any questions about this? I know it's a lot of information. Natalie, how are we doing? It's not new to you, right? You know all of that. Awesome. And it's 2 o'clock. Just want to take a few more minutes. Again, if in doubt, you have to double check with your attorney, right? Double check, double check, double check. And this is the procedure. It was introduced by Mr. Winings to Nogales. I would like to start implementing it here. Why? Because if something went through the cracks, you still can catch it. And you can still save the firm and attorney's butt. Okay? So that's the reason we're going to go through this really quick, because even we sign out the client who is not checked on the conflict. When you work with the client, just hey, you know, oh, I refer you so many clients, you know, like, oh, I have half of my family with you. Just hey, I would really 2 o'clock. Like, right, just 5 more minutes, hang in there, and then we'll take 5-minute break. So why it's important to catch it. So I want you to understand that every time you touch the file, I want you to think about 2 things. Do I have correct information, contact information to the client? Because I don't want to drive to their house to locate them. We've done it before. Mr. Winings personally did it because we did not have correct contact information of the client, and then there is potential conflict. Those 2 things, every time you touch the file, and I know you don't have time to do it, but I think you don't have time not to have time to do it. We have to do it because something happens, You're gonna be the hero. You find something like this, and again, with humans. In a perfect world, we don't even need to have this meeting because you would know everything by heart by now. But we're not living in a perfect world, but we're gonna make a better world by doing this. Contact information. What is contact information? What does majority of the people change normally? Nogales. What normally changed? Phone number or address? What do you think?
Hello, everyone. I
Hello?
just want to go ahead and make sure that my mic is working properly now.
It is. Tell me.
Perfect.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone.
No,
So,
good afternoon. You answered the question.
perfect. So I would say that people change more their phone numbers. Usually here in Mexico, at least, they change the phone number constantly. Now,
Then
I have seen in the States that they change the address more frequently than the phone number, however.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
The address.
Address, where we have a different opinion here in Phoenix, Arizona, that they move more, they change, they more addicted to the phones than the houses. Let's put it that, yeah, where's your house? I have my phone with me. I don't have my house. Okay, I would happen to agree that they change more addresses than their phones. A lot of people change their both, right? They don't want to be found by their attorneys. Who wants to help them, right? They want to be hiding. So you never know, but I saw the tendency, and again, ladies, correct me if I'm wrong here, and gentlemen. So what has changed the most? The addresses, okay. What do you want to confirm first? What changed the most, right? And of course, phone number. And I would ask you to please get alternative phone number. I don't call it alternative. We call it emergency number. Like at the hospital, at the doctors. Okay, well, this is your cell phone number, Erica. What's your emergency contact? They all have emergency contact. So at least if the phone is blocked or they block Erica's number when she's calling them every day, so at least we're gonna call the emergency number, who's a husband, brother, father, say, we're trying to have emergency news for your daughter. Could you please deliver the message because we don't know what happened to her phone. Okay, but check both and get emergency number. And then the second, check for what? When you get the file, hello? Conflicts, check, how do you check the conflicts? Natalie? How do you check it? Like, tell me, what do you, like, you have a file of Jorge Lopez, how do you check? What do you do? You go in a Zoom and just type the name and see what comes up. All right, and then you like, this like 500 letters. Then you do a little investigation and then in doubt go to Mr. Winings and torture him. Like, what should I do? Is it conflict or not, right? And it's again, so remember, it's all new intakes and current clients. All. So do you know anyone, particular previous family, spouse, or partners, or parents, or children? Partners count too, by the way, right? Who also use Maria Jones Law Firm's legal services for criminal, immigration, and personal injury. Yes, we have personal injury cases and immigration cases and criminal cases. If the answer is, oh, I saved you my entire family. Uh-oh, conflict check. What is the person's name? What kind of case they hired us for? What kind of relationship do you have with potential? You confirm the information, you search it in a Zoom or Salesforce for Nogales for the new clients and inactive clients, because if they're former clients as well, by the way. Small note. Not just active, inactive. What's the difference? Lee. What's, no, there is a difference. There's active clients, inactive clients. What's the difference with the term?
Oh, yeah, settled,
settled, closed, we don't care about them anymore, right? So we're done with them. Not here. It's still under conflict umbrella, this. Yep, I know, that's frustrating. How many clients we're talking about? Thousands, right? But they are, the good thing is they're still in our Zoom, and they're inactive, hopefully. Hopefully we're doing our job great and inactivate clients instead of keeping them active, right? If the answer is no, no conflict. Exception, criminal case, right? If there is nobody there for immigration for the conflict, criminal department versus immigration department, Paulina explained to you very well about visa and aggressor, right? So that's two departments, it's not in one. For you visa, Wawa, we already talked about it, right? So the conflicts again, so there's some scenarios for you to look and other examples. So again, if you're in doubt, check your list, it's printed out for you. Please keep it in a safe place. Nobody can steal it from you. So you can always have it handy to double check your conflict, to get a reminder for yourself. There is, right? So confidentiality, no legal advice, act professionally. You're in a law firm, not in the Walmart. You do whatever you want in Walmart, but not here. And conflict check. And I know if we haven't done it at the phone operators, we can still do it. You can still save the day and be here. We'll have a break. 5 minutes or 10 minutes? Huh? Nogales, how much do you need? 5 or 10? Hello?
5 is okay.
5.
5 is fine.
5. All right, go. Good? Yes, yes. Okay, 5 minutes. 5 minutes up. All right, guys, let's get started. 5 minutes, you said 5 minutes, not 10. Was it helpful? For ethics?
It's cold.
It's not cold when you're presenting.
That's true. No, 'cause you're-
Moving, my throat is hurting me now. Talk too much. I cannot talk too much. One of these days I will. Yeah? So you need to talk more right
Okay,
now.
come on up.
No, you talk more right now because it's all about you. Huh? Is Nogales back? All of you guys? I did not see you. I only see like one. I don't know if I'm-
Yes, we're all back.
But then we're not serious. We see each other. Oh, yeah, perfect. I'm trying to see you guys better, so I see all of you. All of your beautiful faces. I don't see Marco though. Do you guys see Marco? I
Don't you see him?
Paulina. No.
That's
Um,
right. Marco's already here.
Oh, he's right here. Perfect. All right, I will back. Are we ready? I said my throat is like shutting off. So you speak. You speak the truth and nothing but the truth. But not all the truth. Right? Yeah, I used to say, but not all the truth. All right. So let's talk a little bit about you. So how are you feeling? How are you feeling in your positions? I cannot hear you. Liz is like, I cannot hear you.
I feel like there's not enough time in the day.
Not enough time in the day. What else? You agree?
Yeah.
Come up with something else. By the way, cannot repeat each other's. Not enough time in the day. What else?
I feel like it's gonna take a while to get familiar with all the cases, especially in carrying somebody else's position.
Yes,
Like
that could be
managing the
challenging.
calendar and everything that we go through and all that.
I know, but it was like that lead position. She should be leading it with
Oh, yeah.
both hands, right? She's sitting next to you. Elbows.
It's just a matter of adapting.
Uh-huh. You go to adapting, okay. Dalet, what are you calling?
Adapting.
Cannot repeat each other, even though you inherited the positions.
No, that's cleaning up. Yeah, we're doing a lot of that right now.
Cleaning up messes.
So. That's my time right now is cleaning up.
Cleaning up.
Um,
You're in cleaning services these days, huh?
I do. So what I'm having a hard time right now is like cleaning up, but also doing the new clients. That's,
You talk to Nogales, they're kick butts on the new clients.
I know. I feel like a lot of ones have been hiring.
Yes.
So we can stop that right now.
It's working, but we're gonna fix it too on the other end. Right, Liz? What about you? What's your word? So not enough time in the day, cleaning up, adapting.
So, a little bit of everything too. but
What's your word?
I would say, just catching up on waivers,
Catching.
catching up, making sure that the people that have already submitted all of their documents, that their waivers are being worked on and sent out, and, kind of locating those files and trying to, like, you know, have a system to work it like first come, first serve basis where it's like, but then there's always those like, oh, we have like an emergency line or AOS or something coming up that I can't go work in. So me and Mr. Weiss and needs to be ahead of us and then trying to get it.
Catching up, first come, first
Yeah.
serve. Nogales, you heard that all? A little bit?
Nogales, what?
So just, it was catch up. Catching up, first come, first serve, dealing with urgent versus important, but not urgent. Awesome. Karen, yeah, public charging issues, a lot of files on standby going, reviewing it, see where we are, so we can proceed accordingly. Upset client,
It should be happy, it's a good thing.
On the upside of it, it's more than having thought.
so what's your word? Everybody's come up with like word or phrase. So Lisa's catch up. Dalet is clean up. Cleaning. She's gonna be out cleaning. What's your word? What do you give her? Let her think. It's a quiz. It's a test. Public charge. Anybody's familiar with public charges? Go to public and we charge them. Right? Significant words. Yeah, so we had public charge, we don't have, like, it's a good thing, right? It's a good thing, but now the clients are confused, they all think it's whose fault is that? Ours, of course, right? Because we're the messenger, and normally we should the messenger. So we just want to make sure how we can present that news without being shocked.
And then we have new additions.
It's just getting better and better, right? It's like, oh, I don't know about catching up. Like, it's never going to be caught up, right? Because otherwise, every president brings something different. Benny,
I would say communication. I'm struggling with the communication. message gets lost with PO. And so one thing one day, and then the next day is different, and, they call their send, trying to, cover everything. The clients are urgent, the calls are urgent, clients, the emails, and I'm with everybody else. Just catch up, just clean up, trying to do everything at the same time.
All right, communication. Communication is the word or urgent? I see two words. Urgent.
Communication.
Okay. Okay. All right, yeah, everything can be urgent and nothing is urgent, right? So if everything is urgent, okay, so that's interesting concept. So there's, Nicole's going to talk to you more about what's urgent, important, non-important, urgent, non-important. So there is like a certain 4 categories to put the subject, but if you leave in urgent, nothing happens in the and you will burn out, right? So the thing is, out of all of that, and then just briefly, because I don't want to take the subject and take our time, but it's like if you look at it, what's important, everything is important, but not everything is urgent. Why? Because there's one thing is you're going to pick 2 and still you're going to pick 1. It is most urgent. That's where you start. All right. Lee.
I would say, in following up with clients, because one, there's been some
Following up for documents to make sure to complete the package.
yeah, following up. And just,
Staying on the top of them. Okay, so deliver us what you told you're gonna bring, or following up, said, are you bringing it? Do you need how to get it? Following up. Good. All right. Omar.
So
What's your
on my
word?
behalf, I will be saying I was actually thinking about following up as well. However, Lee won that one for me. I would say courtesy calls. I would say where
Courtesy
that's
call.
like the issue. Yes. Most of our clients, they are really dependable on all the information from us. They want to know things straight away if there's like a change on the law or if they hear anything else from, let's say, a family member, a friend. They constantly call. And that's an issue that we have because sometimes we get call after call after call, and we're unable to take all those at the same time. So it was sort of the following up as well that Lee won.
Courtesy call looks like a luxury these days. Like it's emergency calls normally, right? It's emergency, courtesy, forget about it. We'll talk about it later. All right, thanks so much. Brianna.
Hi. I would say managing conflicts with clients, such as having, I don't know if somebody said something like that. I can hardly hear you, but I can hear what Ms. Jones says, but not what everybody else says. But I get a small recap when she repeats it. Complaints from clients, trying to manage that call at the moment, trying to fit them in our daily tasks to get to those complaints and avoid a bigger complaint or a bar complaint even. I think that's our main issue, clients being upset.
All right, conflicts. Check. Marco.
Yeah. So, hi. My word would be learning, since I'm fairly new at the LA position and I still have some doubts when a client asks something. So I always reach out to the lead or Liz, and they always advise. Even Paulina has helped me a lot, but sometimes, I still struggle a little bit to understand where the case is at or the step that they're currently in, the need of documents or specifics on the cases. So my work will be learning.
I love that. By the way, it should be everybody's word, including, right?
Yeah.
So what is it? Lifetime student? The moment you stop learning, you died. That's the rule. If you guys figure it out, Erica, in early age, your life is gonna be magic. Right? You got this. Life times student. Anything you learned today that you did not yesterday, you had a great day, regardless of the conflict, of cleaning up, of catching up, or not enough time in the day, right? So regardless, if you learn something today about yourself or others, the day is awesome. And today, you learn like for half a year. You learn so much today, right? Especially Marco. He's gonna be like, yes, check, 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 check.
Yeah. Have you ever?
Awesome. Paulina.
Mine will be stepping in. So whenever someone is out from either phone department or with the legal assistance, I step in. And it's really, really hard because all of the departments have different ways to make certain process and different tasks. So I have to step in, take calls from the queue, cover for the legal assistance. So that's what I struggle with.
Sounds familiar, Erica. Dr. Erica.
Yes, I know Erika knows what I'm talking about. Like, girl,
Not that easy with Paulina. Yeah. Awesome, awesome. Thank you for sharing, everybody. I know it's the positions that you have, they're challenging. And actually, some of you have been here surviving longer than others, so good job. So hopefully we're gonna keep younger employees, right? Is it younger? Newer, sorry. Newer employees longer.
That wouldn't be me.
That would be me, the youngest in this group. So taking control of your position and really feel like it's your own. It's not like, oh, it belongs to Maria Jones, or it belongs to Winings, or it's the firm, but it's mine, right? And you take the ownership. The whole world changes when you take ownership of your position. Versus, I'm just here to get paid so I can pay my bills, right? Or I can go travel, or I can do fun things in life. No, you are changing lives. And that's why the first thing, it took me a while to put together. I'm like, I don't know what I want to talk to you about. It's the first training of the year, quarterly training, like what message I want to deliver to you. It's like every single one of you is a part of the puzzle. Without even one part of the puzzle, the picture is not going to be beautiful because it's something is going to be missing. That's why like each position of all of you is so important. And if you don't take the ownership, the own mentality, if it's not me, then who? If I don't take care of this call, I don't know who will, right? So if I don't return this call, who will? If I don't stand up for my client and deliver the message to the attorney and figure it out, the situation, if it's not me, then who? Attorney will do it. What if they don't? What if they don't have time enough in the day, right? So what if something emergency happened, they have like really emergency they have to do it? Then you rely on somebody instead of saying, if it's not me, then of course it's me. I'm in charge. I have to take control of that. It's me. If you have that mentality, you will see your world will change. And I'm not talking only about the law firm, you understand it, right? Everything I'm gonna be giving you from now on, it's not ethics, it's actually personal development. Professional, it's gonna affect in both areas. Erica knows I've worked with her on that. It's like, if I talk to you because I'm your boss, I am teaching you not only professional, I'm also teaching you how to become a better person. I am personally developing you in your personal life as well as professional. Because guess what? You take this knowledge today, you pack it, you can come home, put it on the shelf and get dusty. Or you can open it and keep looking at it, I mean the knowledge, figuratively, and use it every day. It's up to you, but I cannot take it back from you, ever. Now it's yours, you're welcome. Okay? So take it to the next level, guys. Take every word as a gift and implement it, because trust me, if you do that, it's gonna help you with any aspect of your life. And you're gonna not just flourish in your position where you're gonna have ownership, but also as a woman, as a man, as a father, as a mother, as a daughter, as anybody, and you are wearing those hats. You're gonna be succeeding in all of them, okay? So take it seriously, what I'm gonna about to tell you. Because excellence is not being the best, is doing the best. The question is, are you doing the best? Or are we constantly catching up, following up, dealing with emergencies with always emergency? It doesn't allow you to be the best. How do we get there? By first taking an ownership of it in this way. Your clients are your clients. They belong to the firm, right? You know that. All the clients are, we paid for them to come in. It's like a baby, and I put it an example, whoever has a baby can relate, whoever cannot, imagine you do. So you sometimes want to go have fun, right? And we hire babysitters or people we trust, like moms, dads, right, helping us. So you are the same thing for the clients, right? You're babysitting the clients. You are. So that means when babysitter comes to take care of the baby and parents are gone, that babysitter has 100% what? 100%. Whatever happens to the baby, it's on your watch. You're 100% responsible. It's not your baby, but you're 100% responsible for it. The same here. So right now, when you come in, it's babysitting. Yeah, I don't know. If you come up with a better word, you tell me. But I think it's babysitting because this is your baby. Even though when you go home, they leave them here, right? You don't need to take them with you. It's huge responsibility, confidentiality, right? So, but treat it like that. So I'm 100% responsible. I'm touching this file and I'm holding the life of the baby or that person in my hand. How does it feel? I can screw it up and it dies figuratively or not. Or I can give them the future. Be having an amazing life in the United States. What do you choose? Tough question, huh? If you treat every person like that, they should not have a conflict. They cannot have complaints or follow-ups, things like that. Why? Because they feel it. Every single person will feel like they're the only one. And I know we don't have the only one, and you have many. But if you manage to give attention, like you have, let's say you have 100 clients, but you cannot give your attention to 100 clients at once. How do you do it? How do you make everybody special? Not at once. How do you do that? Tell it.
At different times, whenever you do get to speak to a client or be in contact with them, make them feel like they really are.
When I have this client here, nothing else exists. You don't exist, by the way, right? Nothing, like I make you feel like $1,000,000 and make you feel like you're the only one I have. Why? Because this is your case, this is me, and I'm giving you 100% attention. And when you leave, I say, thank you so much. Now leaves my client, I gave him 100% attention. How did you feel? Awesome, not right now. Because now I'm not paying attention to you, right? So just little things. And I tested it, guys. We have so many clients walking in, and I'm like, there is a way for me to give them my attention, even if it's for 2 minutes. If you can make them feel like $1,000,000 and they're the only one in the firm that walked in. And I did that experiment. And I did walk in and I did not have time, but I found that 2 minutes for every person walking into the door to say hi. They talked about it for weeks, for my 2 minutes. You do the same, maybe not 2 minutes, maybe 10 minutes here, 5 minutes here. But again, when you are with that person, nothing else exists. You just there, physically and mentally. You're not talking to the person and thinking, oh my God, if you don't call it, sorry, I mean, like talk to her, like, okay, what about the paper? Like, did you get the paper? So this is like, just believe me. I'm not that important. You see the difference? What are you thinking? Are you using that technique or you're just everywhere?
You can just say, make it, but I'm still.
In your head or in the action?
In the situation.
In the action?
Oh, not with the client.
Not with the client, in your head. So
No,
we,
no, 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 no. Not with the client, just overall, after.
okay, okay, what else? Think it was.
I don't know, I feel like that's the only way to get anything done. Like, I will literally not do anything else until I finish what I need to do. Otherwise, you're doing 10 things at once, you're not doing.
Exactly. So you touch 10 things, 10 files, 10 clients, 10 phone calls at once. That is impossible because to get covered 100%. What you do, you divide your 100%, a little bit of here, a little bit of here, and what's the result? Nobody's happy because they don't get your 100% attention. But you can divide your time, the same amount of time, and give 100% attention this one without looking at this. They don't exist. But 100% and finish it from 0 to 10 to 100, right? Or 100%. And that person is happy, guess what? He's not going to call you 500 times because he's happy because you spend a little extra time with him. He's on his way. And next. And now he's the only one, or she, right? The client. So you spend, you finish, whatever needs to be done, you follow up and done. But then what's going to happen to your head? Are you all in or you're thinking about somebody else? Or you're thinking about, oh my God, I'm spending this time with this client, but I have 20 more phone calls to return, 20 more packages to complete today before I leave, and it's already 20 to 5. Are you all present or you're thinking about other stuff? That's the question. Is that no? Okay.
All of the way. So you-
Awesome.
Okay. Then you have follow-up, so you don't have to. And then you have a call, you have a explain, so it's like, so you're all over the place, so the team's time, you do the exact time, that you don't have one.
Nogales, did you hear it?
Not really.
I can't say that exactly how I said.
So Benny figured it out. That's the bottom line. That's it.
Nice.
You go do the thing. So technically, if it does not give you any good or client any good, if you're talking to one client thinking about the other. So just try to, what is it called? Turn your brain off about others and treat one as one because there's nothing you can do about others at that moment. Nothing. You just overwhelm your head. That's all. It's happening in your head. All right. So treat your client as your baby that you're babysitting. It's not yours, but you're babysitting. So that means you're 100% responsible for it. All right. How to manage myself, clients, cases, and team members. You only need to do 2 things. Attitude and attitude. Uplifting attitude, easier said than done. So how do you stay uplifting when you're down? You pretend,
Yeah.
you fake it until you make it, Liz. Who else? Lee, how do you?
What's the question?
Oh, Liz, what's the?
That's how he does it.
Lee, are you with us? You're sitting close to me and I'm shouting, so I don't know, is it too much? What's the question?
How do you maintain an uplifting
Especially when you're down.
especially when you're broke?
When you're down or when you're like, "Oh, I don't want to come to work today. Oh my God, I have to deal with all those people again." And you're like,
I wouldn't say that I'm down though. It's kind of
not down, I don't know, like when you don't feel like being uplifted. You know, uplifting, like, ta-da! Here I am. World, come and see me.
Just try to remember.
Professionalism, so you don't need to be uplifting, but professional.
It's standard. It's try to be professional. Can't be like a scary professional.
Be professional versus uplifting. Okay, that's where Lee is. Everybody FYI. We need to that more with him. So what's your secrets? Besides faking it. Music works. Uplifting or down?
Oh, no, let's,
Uplifting. What are you listening mostly?
I do
Uplifting.
alternative.
Alternative? Okay, music, faking. I'm gonna get back to you on that. Which is a good question. Karen, what do you do to get uplifting or get uplifting attitude?
Fire. Yesterday, monster, stuff like that, but I had a little bit music that's good.
What was the first one?
Monsters like energy drinks.
Oh. I was like, you're talking to monsters? Do we need to have an outside conversation?
Energy drinks.
Monster drinks. You know, they're not good for your health, but they're very uplifting.
Yes.
Yes, I know. Okay. Natalie,
Yeah, I think just looking on the bright side, trying to be optimistic about any situation you find yourself in. I think that's always
how do you do that when client yells at you?
when a client yells at you.
Yeah, and upset, and it's like you've done this, especially when you knew it's everything is your
Oh,
fault.
yeah.
How do you deal with that?
I think I look at the bright side like, now I know for this time, I learned something that, to avoid.
Hmm. Any situation brings you a lesson. It's up to you to go, or okay, got it next time. It's more optimistic attitude, uplifting. Uplifting is more like people are down, like, oh, the client yelled at me. I'm so sad, or I'm just sad because the world is going through the crap. So I'm just sad. It was like, how do you deal with that? So that's like, how do you stay like, no matter what, I have a job, I have amazing people working, right? So how do you stay uplifted?
Well, with that exactly, just thinking like positive thoughts. Or when I'm just feeling like physically down, like no energy, I don't want to deal with no one.
Monsters.
That.
Just
that
remember,
energy.
monster.
No, I really do. So when I do it, I like to treat myself like pass by in the morning to get my favorite coffee, put on my favorite perfume, I do things like that.
Yeah,
And then it
that's
gets
a
me in
great
a better
thing.
mood.
Yeah.
So then I'm better.
Yeah, I tell people if I'm an extra makeup, I have pretty down, but not lifting attitude. Because that's how I lift myself. Putting extra
Yeah.
makeup on, it's, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm
just
ready to
really-
show up in the world, right?
Just doing things that make you feel better. That way you can, present yourself well here and
great
to
too.
others.
Yeah, whatever. You know yourself better than everybody else, right? Whatever works for you, do it. You are in control of your attitude, right? So I want to have bright clothes, bright makeup, and extra perfume today, and you all have to deal with it. And you're gonna uplift everybody else because an uplifting attitude and positivity is what? Contagious. Because that's why I'm saying if somebody's down and professional, and we can come in professionally down. So we can come and all of us can be uplifting. And we don't need to do it intentionally, it just vibrates. Right?
Another thing is just, do whatever, gets me in a better mood, but also just professional comes in hand, I guess, with having manners. Just manners, even if you're you're going through the worst thing in your life, out of manners, say good morning to your coworker or to the client. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Who's not saying good morning to you? Omar?
No,
Marco.
it's just, I just think about that. So that way, even if you're not in the best mood yourself,
just by having simple, regular manners, you're already, treating others well, so.
It's funny that, it's amazing you brought it up because it just like came the situation that that person did not even know, that I was crossing the road and the person, like the cars were not letting me in. Like to cross, like I was running. And one person like on a big truck, like stopped the traffic for me.
I know.
I love you. And he's like,
Oh.
he literally uplifted me
Yeah.
so much. So I came to home, uplifted other people on the way, and I came to work. Maybe not you, but somebody else uplifted. So that's contagious. That's how I'm like, oh my God. And it's probably nothing for him. Just stop. Okay, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extra seconds. We don't know what kind of difference we make in each other. Even saying, good morning, Karen, how are you feeling today? She cares. I'm dead, right? So even like, how are you doing? Is everything fine? Like even a conversation, just say, how are you? Good morning. What's going on? What kind of coffee you drinking? Just little things. Thank you for bringing it up, Bella. But little things can make huge difference. Just change your mood from professional to uplifting. And then you become professional uplifter. How's that sound? Better? I know it better. Yeah. Erica, what do you do?
I think that I just remind myself that what I give will be like a mirror. So I'm not going to be an asshole to people. That's probably what I'm going to get to today.
Karma.
I believe in karma.
Yeah. What you send out comes to you 10 times back. You know it, right? Yep. So true, guys. And if you don't believe it, trust me. I am a proven example. I'm not going to give you. So who else? Nogales. Did I ask you?
Hello. So I'd like to
Yes.
share my secret.
Oh!
My secret,
Go.
the secret that I have, it's I like to put myself on the client's shoes. I imagine myself having that opportunity that the client is having, and I would like for them to actually feel the best, that they have all the hope in the world, that we're going to resolve all their issues for them. So I always put myself in their shoes, and I imagine myself in that position, and that's how I like to be treated.
Is it how you stay uplifting or you uplift the clients?
Yes, I actually stay uplifting myself as well, and I uplift the client. It's both. It works sideways.
Well, it also goes both ways.
Yes.
Because if you're putting yourself in clients' shoes, you can be crying with them too, not uplifting. So be careful because it can suck you in, and I can really be sad with you versus fixing your problem and uplift and give you hope and say we got you. Just be careful getting yourself too emotional because I know a lot of people in Nogales do that. And here
Yes.
too, we just sit down and cry with the clients because we're so sympathetic that it could take carried on. It's not a bad thing, Omar, don't get me wrong, but it could be really, you can be taking over of that sympathy versus uplifting. You see the difference? So because you're a professional, right? But you're also uplifter and you're sympathetic, but don't go too far when you will not be able to perform because you're too sad versus being uplifting. I love your secret. Thank you so much for sharing. Rihanna.
Sorry, I I didn't click on the mute thing. I think I breathe. Like that's my key for staying uplifting on the calls or in my daily life. It's just give myself a break, give clients a break, and breathe. Just allow myself to get in a new mood, get like a transition from one client to another, one call from another. And every time I am about to take a call, I just take a deep breath, and then I'm just ready to take that call and in a better mood.
It's a yogi technique. It's a great technique. You know, every time you're stressed, you know what happens to your lungs, to your body. And you're making it stressful even more. Why? Because your body becomes raw. The moment you're breathing, so everything opens up, your lungs, and it's easier to breathe, and it calms you down too. That's awesome. I love that. Marco, thank you.
Okay, so actually what helps me stay uplifted here at the office, I think it's coworkers. You know, a 2-minute chat with someone that I have on the side. And don't get me wrong, it's not procrastinating, but you know, a 2-minute chat where you can comment something besides work. I mean, it helps me a lot. It helps me, you
What are
know,
you normally
lift my mood. No, 2 minutes.
Okay, what about? What are you discussing?
No, it could be anything, you know, how's your day going, or what did you did yesterday after work, you know, small details. And it actually helps me a lot, you know, to get perspective on something besides work.
Nice. Take a little break from work.
Yeah. Tell them to
Yeah.
break anything.
Yeah, think about something other than work.
Yeah.
Great idea. Okay, Paulina.
I like to think about the following. I always remind myself that you can do anything, but you cannot do everything at the same time. So whenever I get stressed because there's a lot to do, someone just mentioned that we can determine what's urgent, what needs to be done right now, what can I schedule myself to do later, and ask for help. So I always think I can do anything. It's okay. I can do anything, but I cannot do everything at the same time. And it's uplifting because you're motivating yourself that you are ready, you're prepared to do whatever you have to do. You just have to remain calm.
I love that. Are you reading it from the book or something? I'm just like,
Nope.
wow, very profound. I love that.
Okay, let
Is
me
it
check.
allowed training?
No, there's no book.
Paulina? No book? It's allowed trainings weekly, right? That we had. Good
Yeah,
job.
I
I really
actually
love it.
I actually got it from you. So
Sure. Mhm. Whatever you got it. So I appreciate you sharing with the rest of us. Thank you so much. That's great feedback, guys. Back to Liz. You know, I haven't forgotten, even though we're going to be a little bit longer because of Liz. She's going to cook it. Now we're going to be staying here longer a little bit. Okay. It's actually great to hear because not all day, every day, you feel uplifting, happy, and energized, right? You need some stimuluses like different, you know, talk about the weather or, you know, what kind of drink you had last night, or did you go see the game, or what kind of movie, or have a monster drink, or doing other techniques that it helps you, you know yourself better. And if nothing works, the last thing is left is fake it until you make it. Because even if you say, I'm gonna just pretend to be uplifting, guess what? You're becoming it. And the more you pretend, the more it's becoming a habit. So if in doubt, pretend. So great technique. That's why I wanted to comment on that, because if anything else doesn't work, do that at least. And it always works. Good job. Good job, everybody. Wow. A lot of great information. Hopefully you can share and you can use different techniques if it works for somebody else that maybe you never even tried before. Okay? So again, whatever you see in others is a mirror of you. You cannot see what you don't have. You understand this? Not a lot of people understand what I just said. If you don't have it, you cannot see it in others. If you don't know love, you cannot see love in others. If you don't know care, you cannot see care in others. So just understand, everybody you talk to, you say upset client, okay, let's see what happened to that client. Or he's rude to me, let's see what happens to it. Because every time you talk about others, you talk about you. Because you cannot see what you don't have. I'm just leaving it there
Oh,
for you.
yeah.
Just
I
boom.
know.
This is very deep concept, guys. I don't want to spend too much because I can talk hours about it because it's our psychology and how it works. I know Liz probably knows that, right? But that means if I don't appreciate me, I cannot appreciate people. So that's why I said appreciate you first. Look at the mirror and say, I love you. But only in the mirror. Don't go on the streets, right? Or on the social media, right? So go in the mirror and say, you did good today. Or you did good this year. Oh my God, look at you, how much you accomplished. Look where you've worked, what you've done for your life. You make difference in people's life. Look how much you accomplish. Oh my God, you learn every day. Your life long student. Look at you. Your face. You whisper too. So and you go with that, and that's uplifting, but you start with you. You start loving you, appreciate you. You're gonna bring the same thing to others. That's why I say this concept is the most amazing concept because you start with you. And if you say, she said, he makes me feel good, go to the mirror. Have conversation. Something's going on with me to have the person that I see this and this person and see this and this because again, I cannot see what I have. Make sense? Guys, you're with me? It's a deep concept, but we're going to leave you with that. If you have questions, come talk to you. We can talk more. Right, Natalie? And of course, be grateful for every day we have. We're healthy, we have jobs, we're not sick, and we make difference in people's lives. What else you can wish for? More money, I know. We're getting there. We're getting there together. If we all do what we need to do 100%, all of us are going to get there. I promise you. Okay? So just stick around a little bit so you can see the fireworks. All right, really quick. Management, time management general. Again, it's very general. Just the concept that I love is I read it in the book for Poor Dad, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, who actually lives here in the States. Rich and poor has the same amount of time in a day, 24/7. It's not how much time you have, Erica. It's what you do with it. And again, the concept is, did I do my best? Am I perfect? No. Did I do my best today? Yes. Tomorrow, we're going to do more. Did I use my time wisely? Right? Did I spend more than 2 minutes, Mark, for talking about yesterday movie? Did I spend half an hour? So, I'm sorry, darling, I don't have time today because I talked about that movie, you know. Have you heard about the movie? And by the way, I'm going to see it, and I highly recommend you to see the movie. And the character is incredible, and you should read about it because can I send you the social media post on that? Wait. What do you do all the time? Sometimes you don't even notice what you do. That's why calendars are your best lovers, and friends, and husbands and wives, and bosses and managers is your calendar. Without calendar, you cannot go far in this one. Why? Because if you have 5 clients a day and you remember them and memorize them, right? That would be one conversation. But you have hundreds. I don't want you to clog up your brain with clients. Put them all on the calendar. Use it as your best friend, your tool, your wherever you want. You can give a calendar a name if you want to, because that is the person who's going to save you from a lot of mishandling clients, missing the deadlines, missing the task, forgetting, getting through the cracks, going through the cracks, and you never need to clean up. Why? Because everything is on the calendar. We can go back and check. Everything is set up, organized, reminders set up, everything put together. If you don't know how to use the calendar, we're going to have a session for you. But I just wanted to give you some tips how to really stay organized. But you start with your office. Your office is your, if your office is a mess, your head is a mess, and everything is a mess. Your work and your life. Do you know that? Do you know that? How do you know that?
experience.
Give us example.
Automatically, well, obviously, we have a lot of cases, each of us, so it's easy to just pile up things, you know. And just with like a little cleanup, you feel so much better. Like, okay, I feel like I'm getting somewhere.
Yes.
Even if I just put it away and like did the urgent things right now, but you feel like you're getting somewhere and you feel way better here. And then you go home and you're like, okay, no, work it. It's okay. So I'm okay.
Is organized desk or messy desk give you anxiety?
Mentally.
It's like, out of sight, out of mind.
Oh, be careful with that. Because otherwise you're gonna be cleaning up too.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So be careful with that. So maybe out of sight, on the calendar, out of mind.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's the trick. Because we don't want to file that and they're like,
Right.
what's
Yeah.
it wasn't there, like, oh, by the way, it was already there. I don't remember it. Right?
I'll get to it.
So be
when I
careful
get
with,
to it.
yes. If I remember at one point when client calls yelling at me, so we create our own anxiety and stress, you understand? Just simple clean up the office. Clean up the office, even organize the things like that makes you feel already,
Yeah.
I can breathe better a little bit. Right? So if there's messy, I'm like, can I just go home? I'm good. Right? Because I cannot even look at that mess. Why? It's too messy. Your office has to be organized for you not to feel anxiety, not to feel stress. Why to add additional stress to our life we already have? Why? Kill ourselves slowly but surely. Right? Not good, but it's easy. First 10, 15 minutes. It's why you have, we say we open at 9 and you come in at 8:30. Why? I give you half an hour to put yourself together to get ready for the day. It's half an hour. Get yourself coffee, get yourself perfume, put together, whatever you need, Monster, drink, things like that. Okay, whatever you need, organize. This is my day. Breathe and go into the day. And get the multiverse. So, but you setting yourself up to success, go to the messy desk, and then you're going to be overwhelmed when you start and overwhelmed when you leave. What good does it make to you and to the firm and to the clients? Make sense? Calendar is your friend. Use it wisely. I would block things like return phone calls when I come at the beginning of the day, maybe before lunch or after lunch, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, and then 30 minutes after before you leave, before 5. And it's non-negotiable. And I know you will have so many different reasons in your head saying, I don't have time. You don't have time not to have time to do this. Trust me, it's going to change dramatically. If you just do that, and I gave you an example the way it was blocked. Whatever is in between, it's up to you. Tasks, meetings, appointments, anything. But mandatory things that it's in your material, Nogales, in your printouts, Phoenix. It's there. It's so simple. Do it. It will change your professional life forever. Have a better relationship with your calendar. Make him to work for you or her. Make is as a tool that you cannot do with it. Out of sight to the calendar, out of mind. And of course, I need to remind you, I built this office on 3 things. What's one thing? It's productivity. Productivity is quality, efficiency, customer service. They want to sign me out. But we almost done. What does that say? You have been signed out. Nogales, can you see me?
Yes, we can.
Hello. I say okay. All right. So office space, mind, garbage in, garbage out. So breathing, meditation, highly recommended. Liz has some points for us. Sometimes if you want to talk to her, she is great in meditation. Apparently Brianna is a breathing technique. So use it. use each other as a sources. Hey, it's like you talked about that breathing thing. What do you do, right? Or how do you get the stress out of your mind? Like, how do you do it? Because getting into the stressful day, being stressed is not going to help. It's going to create more stress, less uplifting. Because you can uplift yourself at 8 o'clock in the morning and get yourself crashed at 9 a.m. Right? Because you're so desk. I walk sometimes along the office and see who's stressed or who's uplifted.
By the desk.
I know.
By your desk. It's like the letters all around and shit. I'm using you as an example, but I see where you are by the way your desk looks. It's not like you're gonna start cleaning and don't do it for me, right? So do it for you because I care about you and I want you to have less stress in your life and I share these techniques with you. And consistency, guys, if you do it just one day because I talked to you today, you're gonna use it tomorrow and then it's like, oh, right? So this is gold. This is secret for your success. You don't have to be the best, but you have to do your best. Use this. I'm not gonna waste your time on my time to talk about movies, right? I want to give you enough tools that you say, Maria, I want more of that, less of that. But this you talked about, it's stuck in my head for that story about her being robbed on the parking lot with the files is gonna stuck with me forever, right? We're sending the wrong person to the wrong file to the wrong person. I will remember that. So my job today that you'll remember 20% of what I talked today about, because that's all you can remember from today. Guaranteed. But what I want you to do is to use that 20% to your advantage, inside or outside of the office. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay. I hope it was helpful.
Yes, it was.
Quiz, you can quiz yourself. What's legal advice? All right.
Everything.
It's everything. Okay, bye guys. The Nogales, thank you so much for joining us. Great to see your beautiful faces. Thank you
Bye.
so much.
Guys,
Take care.
Bye, everyone.
bye.